we are going to talk about some Pudgy Penguins. NFT collection Pudgy Penguins recently completed a $9 million seed funding round led by 1KX. The company says it plans to use the new capital to scale its IP and team. Joining us now to discuss is Pudgy Penguins CEO Luca Netz. Luca, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Now, Pudgy Penguins has had a controversial and eventful history. Lay the foundation for us. Talk us through what happened, how you became the CEO, and where we are now.
Yeah, so in summer of 2021, Pudgy Penguins came to the world, and they were started by a young group of friends that really weren't ready to come into the NFT space in the way that it kind of morphed and shifted into. And so it was the talk of the town in August, September, and October of 2021. And unfortunately, it kind of got sent to the wayside as other projects started to, show really strong leadership and vision. And a couple, maybe 4 months after that, the community wanted a change of leadership, in which I decided that I wanted to step up to the plate and buy the business. And so about a year and a month ago, we bought the company for $2.5 million. And our thesis was that this project has all of the ingredients to do something for the NFT space that I believe that nobody was doing, which was building IP. And we purchased it and took it over. And ever since then, it's been a wild ride and a wild journey.
All right. $9 million is a big round for an NFT project, I'd say, in current market conditions. What are you going to do with the money?
Yeah, so I think for us, it's really leaning into what we found has already worked for us. And so one of the beautiful things is we've been one of the best performing NFT projects in this bear market. And we really just want to double down on what we're already doing. And so marketing, scaling the creative department, as well as building out our technical team are really our priorities. And then also working on some of our key products, which will be coming out in the next 6 to 12 months, that are a little bit more immersive when it comes to social experiences and connecting with others.
So now, when you initially bought the Pudgy Penguins, did you pay full cash? You paid cash? Did you borrow any to purchase? And with this fundraising round, are you paying back your investors? Are you paying back anybody you borrowed from?
Yeah, so we self-funded. We're fortunate enough to be in a situation where we had the capital to buy it ourselves. And so we looked at it like a takeover. And so the capital came from myself and a couple other members on the team. We did not pay ourselves back. The money from the venture round is solely to put more fuel to the fire here. And yeah.
So, and of course, you're making toys now, I understand. Is this sort of kind of the opposite direction? Usually it's a toy first and then the NFT. But here you're going into, as they say, the meat space. Now, first of all, what does that say about NFTs in general? And second of all, any of the money going to penguins, actual penguins, to their habitats being destroyed? I know it's a lot of money to be raising, so I was wondering if any of that's going to helping them.
Yeah, so we've donated to penguins in the past, and at the core of our ethos is we definitely want to impact the people and the world in a positive way, and so we definitely a lot of that going on. I think from our perspective, what we're trying to do is we believe that to really hit the curve of mass adoption, we're going to have to do things differently. And to give you some context, today, a lot of crypto and NFT marketing campaigns revolve around sponsoring, crypto arena or sports arenas or basketball jerseys. And I actually don't think that's how we're going to get users into the space. I'm a firm believer that IP is going to be the Trojan horse for really bringing hundreds of millions of people into crypto and into Web3. And for them to participate in the space, they're going to have to fall in love with a character. And this character to us as Pudgy Penguins, we believe we're the most well-positioned to tap into that narrative and to bring people from all walks of life life to fall in love with a character that we believe currently transcends the space. And so the toys is really a first step in that direction. How do you build a sustainable and growable revenue model in a industry that doesn't really have typical revenue models available? And how do you bring that sustainability and that growth and use that toy as a vehicle to make people fall in love with a character that on its face has nothing to do with NFTs and crypto? And eventually, as time goes on and they participate in your brand and they consume with your content and your products, then you teach them about NFTs and then you teach them about crypto, I think is really kind of the approach that we're looking at it. To give you some context, every toy comes with a birth certificate, and that birth certificate unlocks an unlockable NFT. And so people are getting their first digital collectible without them knowing, and really getting their feet wet. And that's what we're trying to accomplish.
What are they going to sell for?
We don't know. We'll let the market decide what they sell for, but it's a mass market product, right? And so at the end of the day, it's not a product that we want to, that I think is going to be selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars like some of our core NFTs have. For us, it's really, you buy a toy, you unlock some NFTs. Those NFTs could be worth, $5 a piece, but the toy only costs you $10. So if you unlock, 5 NFTs that are worth $3, $4 inside, that's a great value proposition in my opinion.
Feel free to send a few. I got a couple of kids.
Will do.
I have a space for some right on the shelf back here, should you want to send some. Luca, you talk about this world building around IP, and we look at, Disney, Mattel, it's massive marketing budgets. They've been around for decades. How do you plan to bring this IP to life and compete with some of these Web 2 companies that have been at it for a long time outside of the crypto space?
Yeah, I think these Web 2 companies that you're referring to are archaic and they lack innovation, if I'm being frank. I was in the business for about 2 years prior to coming over with Pudgy Penguins. I was the CMO of a company called Gel Blaster, which was or is the fastest growing toy company in North America. And while being a part of that business, it was very clear that this was one of the spaces in a couple categories in the world that really are not moving the needle in terms of trying to do things differently and try to do things better. And so innovation on product, I think, is the first way that we're going to do that. And the second way is social media. We have a social media edge today that I believe most IP companies in the world do not. And so we're gaining thousands of followers a day on Instagram. We're getting 30 to 40 million views in our GIFs every single day. And these are kind of the places that I want to double down on and where we're permeating, outside of the space and kind of transcending an internet culture is really through those social networks. And so that's what we've been able to do at a really high level up until this point, and kind of doubling down on those narratives is really going to be a huge focus for us.
How does your average kind of fan break down? Are they more speculators, collectors? What's the demographic, like age-wise, region-wise? I'm just curious, what some of the data is here.
Yeah, so from a NFT holder standpoint, it's fascinating because the demographic is so skewed. I really look at it as a psychographic, as weird as that sounds. I think it's a better way to quantify and understand the end user, just because the NFT space is such a pool of diverse individuals that it's harder to quantify. And I think that psychographic is really people that are family oriented, people that believe in a greater message, which is ultimately helping people and making people smile. And also a lot of jokesters and people that are funny. And so I think those are kind of the psychographics that we're optimizing for. From a consumer product standpoint, we're really optimizing for that teenager. We believe we're the cool and cute, product that I think is hip for a more teen-oriented audience. So ages, 12 to 18 is kind of what we're going for.
The floor price right now is at about 4.5 ETH. Given the project's history, the original leadership team voted out by the community. You come in, it sounds like the milestones are being hit. You're on the path to a bright future for the project. How much pressure do you feel to continue delivering to this community who, has felt wronged in the past?
Yeah, I definitely feel pressure. The expectation is an interesting one, and every intent to win and to be number one. I didn't do this to just be another project on the wayside. I believe we will be the face of NFTs, and I do believe we will be the number one project in the NFT space one day. And with that, I think just comes an expectation from the community and an expectation for myself that at the end of the day, all the data and all the metrics up until this point show that what we're doing is different, and what we're doing is something that people like and want. And I think as we continue on that path and we continue to execute, our journey and our destination will ultimately be inevitable. And that's kind of how we're looking at it. And so I don't take the venture raise lightly. I don't take the fact that we purchased this for $2.5 million lightly. And I don't take the fact that we have a community of 7,000 people who've spent a lot of money on our NFTs. And that's at the top of our mind. And that's our focus and our priority. And so we know that we won't let them down. And so far it's been so good. And we continue to stay on this trajectory.
Luca, I have to ask you before we let you go, the toys are coming. We've seen some NFT projects partner with top Hollywood talent agencies and production companies. Can we expect a Hollywood partnership or production in the future?
I think we just partnered with WME, so we're fortunate in that respect. They believed in our vision, and they've been super helpful. And they are one of a couple partners. I think we also partnered with Retail Monster about 4 or 5 months ago, who's also really significant in the space. And so between WME and Retail Monster, I think we have the right partners to put us in the right rooms when that time comes to expand the IP and maybe create a movie or a TV show or some other really fun activation.
Netflix will give a show to anyone, so you got that in the bag.
Luca, thank you so much for joining us this morning. That was Pudgy Penguins CEO Luca Netz.